Sticking with you, Jacoby, let's turn to a tragic story that it really just seems to be getting worse. Hundreds more have joined a lawsuit saying that they were abused at juvenile detention centers across the state. What are the allegations here?
Man, a lot of these allegations are very similar to one another, and I want to give people the time to, if they need to, step away, to turn down, turn off, or move away. But hundreds are alleging a systemic pattern of abuse in which, at the hands of so many different staff members, whether we're talking correctional officers, whether we're talking nurse, whether we're talking kitchen staff, subjected young boys and young girls and young people to sexual and physical abuse, to rape, to isolation and physical and mental abuse as a way to cover up these crimes. And when I listen to the reports, so much of them use the word new, and they use it as a modifier to talk about like sort of new people coming forward and new lawsuits and new allegations. But this is decades, feels like the wrong word.
Yeah.
It's decades for many of these people. And interestingly enough, I was in a Uber, or I was in the car on my way home last night, and on 92.3 there was a commercial that asked people to come forward.
Yeah, I've heard it too.
If they had similar stories. And you know, while these lawsuits and these allegations may be new, this is a culture that we have largely allowed to go sort of unchecked. In the adult carceral system, sexual abuse for most of my life has been looked at as a trope and a joke in sort of pop culture. And so to think that the youth carceral system would be any different and that they are not more vulnerable. When I got here earlier, Mitch mentioned that back in high school, we competed in high school speech together.
Yeah.
Which reminded me that when I was a sophomore in college speech, I wrote this speech about these types of allegations and this type of abuse and how rampant they are across the country. And so to hear it, I'm not shocked. I'm, of course, horrified and, you know, extremely, like, frustrated and saddened by it. But, like, this is what the inside of our carceral institutions
this is what's happening.
Look like. This is what's being allowed to go forth because we've deemed that people as young as 11 are disposable.
Those commercials you referenced, I mean, I remember hearing it for the first time driving in my car as well. And it was very jarring to hear it between, you know, music playing and you're hearing these like very serious commercials of asking folks to call and, you know, come forward if, you know, in these years, 1980 this or 1990 that, if you were abused, come forward, reach out, we can help.
And shutting down facilities or instituting new policies or firing heads of departments and replacing them. Like, there is no way to just address these systems through these fraudulent attempts at reform, because even now, as people may receive some type of monetary restitution and they'll have their story heard, like, people will go to sleep tonight in these facilities afraid that the exact same thing will happen to them, unchecked, unheard, in facilities that in many cases are out of sight and out of mind for so many of us.